Hello, welcome back to Startup Screen Printing. My name is Jesse. It's been a while since I've made a video, and I apologize for that. We've had some family things going on that have required my attention. They're more important than anything I'm doing here, so family comes first. But I'm back today. I'm going to show you a video on, or I'm doing a video. We're going to show you a walkthrough of mixing water-based ink with the Fusion mixing system from Green Galaxy. You guys know I use only water-based inks, and I use Green Galaxy's water-based ink specifically. Not because any of the other inks are not any good. I've just never tried them. I've only ever used Green Galaxies. And I've been happy with them, so I haven't really had a reason to change. But you'll need a few things. You're going to need the mixing system, which is going to come with the pigments that you need. You can buy the pigments individually, or you can buy the entire mixing kit. I will link that in the description below. You'll need clear core, which will come with the kit, and you'll need opaque core, which also comes with the kit. Much smaller containers that come with the kit, but that's what you'll need in order to do those. So once you have those things, you're going to go to fusion.screenprinting.com. That's where you're going to find the formulas that you need to create the Pantone colors that you're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my browser here, and we're going to go through what this looks like. So I've got the fusion.screenprinting.com pulled up here already, and you're going to choose the type. It's always uncoated direct-to-fabric. It's the only option. But when you're looking at a PMS color and you're determining what PMS swatch you're going to use with water-based ink, you're going to use the uncoated, the Pantone uncoated. Now, not to be confused with Pantone CMYK Plus uncoated. That's what comes inside of Illustrator. That's one of the color books that come inside of Illustrator. And it's just one of the color book options that you can buy, the Pantone swatch books, and they're super expensive. But if you're looking at a Pantone swatch book or you're looking for Pantone colors, you're going to need the solid uncoated, the Pantone Plus, or I think it's just Pantone solid uncoated. If you were using plastisol inks, then you would do the solid coated. So that's where the difference is with water-based inks. So we're on fusion.screenprinting.com. Uncoated is the only thing it gives us for an option. So we'll choose that, and then we're going to select our code. So these are all the PMS code numbers that you have available to you. You can start typing in a color number, or you can scroll to whatever you need. This particular color that I'm going to do, first of all, that I need here is Pantone Cool Gray 1. So I think there are 10 or 11, maybe more cool gray options. Let's see right here, 11. So I'm going to choose Cool Gray 1, and that's going to be my color option. I'm only going to do about 200 grams of this. I don't need very much. So I'm going to do that and click to get the formula. And now you get the formula here ready to go. Now you'll notice a few things. It's going to give you a little printout here. You can print the formula, which is what I've done here. This is what these printouts look like. And then from there, you can also look at the formula here. You can click these links to go to that item and purchase it. But also you notice down here in the comments, a lot of times there are comments that people have made where they think the formula should be different, or they recommend adding a little bit more of a certain color or certain pigment to get a more accurate color in the end. So pay attention to those. A lot of times it just means that the recipe itself has already been changed, but you can also get some tips down here in this lower section, so pay attention to that, and I think you'll be glad you did so. All right, back to the video here. We're going to go ahead and get started. So I've got an ink container here, these little pint containers that are so incredibly hard to get a hold of nowadays. If you know of a good source of these, let me know. I used to get them from screenprinting.com, but they don't have them anymore. So I've got my container on here. I'm going to go ahead and let's get an overhead view so you guys can see what I see here. All right, so we're going to switch to this. We're going to switch to 0 here. So we're going to zero this out for my scale. And then I'm looking at my recipe here. I need 139.82 grams of clear core base. Now, what I like to use, you guys have seen me use these before, are these little swatch cards, cleanup cards. They're just great for scooping stuff out and more than just cleaning up. So I like to use them rather than cleaning up a spatula or anything like that. All right, so we got that now. Let's go ahead and, no, we're good. All right. So we're going to go ahead and pour in, what was it, 139.82. So let's just start helping this out a little bit. We're at 70, 80, 90, 100, 120. 32. Probably have enough on the card there. All right, so 140. Now, a couple of things to note. If you go over that much, I've not had any issues with that. I've spent hours and hours, not really, but I've spent the time to get it precise. And I've also been in a rush and it's not precise, and it was fine either way. But for the sake of this video, let's go ahead and take some back out. Another reason I like these cleanup cards, I can just scoop some back out. 139. Oh, we're at 139.82. Again, it's not going to be very easy. All right, we're going to go with that, 139.97. Again, you don't have to be super precise. I could dip this down in here, 139.84. That's good enough. So let's go with that. All right, I'm going to toss this card now. So I got a little bit on my scale here, so I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off. All right, so apparently that little bit on the scale was actually adding to our total, which is expected, and that's okay. We're going to keep going. All right, we got our clear core done. We don't need to do any more there. Now let's do the opaque core. So the opaque core base is 40 grams. Now you can do this one of two ways. You could add 40 grams to this with a calculator or in your head, or you can just zero it out. Obviously, that's the easy choice. So that's what I'm going to do. Now this is super thick. So this is more like a plastisol ink, actually. So, you know, I don't know if you can really see that very much, but it's really thick. So you can see how that's just kind of globbing out like plastisol. So we need 40 grams of this. So I'm going to scoop out like that. That was 33. See what that is, 37. That might be too much. 45. All right, so we're going to scoop some more back out. As long as you drop that in one place, it's easy to dig just it out and not get any of the clear core. So that's what I'm doing. When I first started, the guys that were teaching me, the guy that was teaching me how to print in the little class that I took and stuff, they were like, oh, you got to be so precise with this. You know, you need something that'll measure to the 100th of a gram. We're just going to go with that, 40.40. But you don't let that scare you. All right, we got that. Toss that card. All right, now we need our pigments. So the first pigment we're going to do is yellow. We need 0.08 grams of yellow. Now this is, obviously you do need something that goes to the 100th gram, the 2 digits on a scale, so that you can see these. I did it for the first couple of years. I mixed ink without that, with just a regular, just to the 10th, a 1-digit scale. So if that's all you got, it's fine. Just figure it out. All right, so we're going to zero this out now, and we're going to do 0.8, which is, this yellow is almost out. I'll do one drop there and see what that is. That's exactly 0.08. It actually went up to 0.09. So you can see just one little dot of yellow. All right, now we're going to do black. Now black is something that you need to be a little more careful with. I've found that oftentimes the black in a recipe on the Fusion mixing system really needs to be half of what they say it needs to be. There are times when it does need to be the full amount, but I usually start at half and then add a little bit if I feel like it needs it. So that being the case, that reminds me I'm going to do the black last so that I can mix up a little bit and determine if I need more black or not. So let's move on to the white. So the white, we need 20 grams. $20 grams right on the dot. Zero that out. Now let's go with the black. And again, we're going to do 0.1. So that's a little bit bigger dot than the yellow was. But I'm going to start, well, see, we're almost there. 0.9. I don't want to go too heavy. I'll put that black cap on the white ink. Okay, clean my white up. All right, so this has actually dropped down a little bit. Oh no, that's because I moved it. All right, so we got our black in there. We went 0.01 shy of where we needed to be, but I think this is going to be good enough. A lot of times I try to lay the pigments down in the center of the can so that they don't get stuck on the sides too much. But you want to also be sure you get down in the corners and get all of that clear core and opaque core so that you're really mixing this around. All right, we got our cool gray. Can't really see very well in the light there, but it's a nice color. That's what I was going for. It works well, so I will use that for this job. All right, close that up. I'm done with that color. I'm going to move on to other colors, but I'm going to do that off video because I need to get to printing. So that, I mean, it's that easy. You know, there's really not a complicated process. Just my biggest tips are go a little low on the black when you're mixing that. Kind of work your way up to the actual color that you want for the black, because you'll find that it's off sometimes. Sometimes there's a little too much black. So go easy on that and just kind of work your way up. The other thing is, if you want the ink, now this is super thin. Like, I mean, it's water-based ink anyways, but even though this is a light color, it's not like a white ink. It's not like the Comet white. It's not really thick. It's super thin, and they're going to be way more transparent than a plastisol ink. So with the lighter colors, especially ones that are custom mixed, you're going to need an underbase on most garments that are any shade of like a gray and beyond. White and light gray and tan, you probably can get away with it, but in the event that you want the ink to be more opaque, you can actually swap the opaque core and the clear core. amounts and it's going to be a little more opaque. I've never done that. I've heard that that's what you can do. So definitely test that out to see. You can also mix the other inks in within any of these to create your own colors, or if you need a different pigment shade and you have one of the Green Galaxy inks, or even white. I recently needed a little bit more opacity in my ink for a job I was doing, and I mixed some Comet white in as my base rather than the clear core and the opaque core. I still did those, but I just kind of combined it with the white, and I essentially made my own color. So it was kind of way beyond whatever the recipe was. The recipe was off. So hopefully the great folks at Green Galaxy and Ryanet will, make a better mixing system in the future. Spend a lot of time on their plastisol inks, and rightfully so. This is the most popular ink. But for those of us doing water-based, I'd love it if they spend a little more time on their water-based stuff and, innovated on that a little more and worked on that mixing system, because it would be great to have more accurate recipes more consistently. But that's it. Glad to be back making videos. Hopefully I'll get back to the consistency of a video a week and a podcast episode a week. But until then, I'll see you in the next video. Be sure that you are subscribed. If not, hit that thumbs up if you've enjoyed this. Go subscribe to the podcast if you're not already. And if you haven't yet checked out the Print Crew, new community that I've started, just a bunch of printers helping each other grow awesome businesses. So if you want to hang out with printers and get your questions answered, share your experiences, learn from each other, that's the place to be. It's at theprintcrew.com. And I also just announced a tool that I put up this week called Screen Printing Toolbox. So if you want to check that out, screenprintingtoolbox.com. I'm going to be adding more tools there and doing write-ups on each of the tools, on how I use them for my business, why I think they're valuable for a screen print business. And so hopefully if you're looking for something to solve a certain problem, whether it be design or bookkeeping or web hosting or anything like that, garment wholesalers, I'm going to put it all in there. So check out screenprintingtoolbox.com and theprintcrew.com. But until then, we'll see you in the next video. Hope you guys have a great week.